What's up, everyone? Today, we are doing something absolutely insane. We are going to look at the 5 biggest, most destructive monster waves in the entire history of the world. I'm talking about tsunamis so powerful they wiped entire islands off the map and reshaped coastlines forever. These aren't just waves, they are forces of nature that have unleashed unimaginable chaos. We're going to count them down from massive to absolutely mind-blowing. And trust me, you won't believe how big the #1 wave on this list gets. It's bigger than the Empire State Building. We've spent thousands of dollars on incredible CGI and animations to show you exactly what it would have been like to stand there and see these waves coming right at you. This is going to be the most epic video we have ever made. We're going to explore the science, the destruction, and the unbelievable stories of survival. So, smash that subscribe button right now, because you're not going to want to miss a single second of this. We are literally about to witness the most powerful forces on Earth, and it all starts right now. For our first location, we're going back in time to the 1800s to witness an explosion so loud it was heard thousands of miles away. It created a wave that traveled around the entire globe. Alright, kicking off our list at number 5, we're going back to 1883. Imagine an entire island just, disappearing. That's exactly what happened with Krakatoa, a volcanic island in Indonesia. This wasn't just a small eruption, it was one of the most violent volcanic events in recorded history. The sound it made was literally the loudest sound ever recorded. People over 3,000 miles away in Australia, and an island near Mauritius, thought they were hearing cannon fire. That's like someone in New York shouting and being heard all the way in Los Angeles. The eruption was so powerful that it sent a column of ash 50 miles into the sky, plunging the entire region into complete darkness for 2.5 days. The pressure wave from the main explosion was so immense, not once, not twice, but 7 times. It was detected by barographs all over the planet. But the explosion itself was only part of the catastrophe. The real monster was what came next. When the volcano collapsed into the sea, it displaced a colossal amount of water, creating a series of gigantic tsunamis. These waves radiated outwards, heading for the populated coasts of Java and Sumatra. In some places, the run-ups reached 30 meters, 40 meters, that's over 130 feet high, taller than a 12-story building. Huge coral blocks were thrown miles inland. A steamship was carried nearly 2 miles and stranded in a forest. Now for number 4, we're jumping forward to a time many of us remember, 2011. This is the Tōhoku earthquake and tsunami in Japan. This event is burned into our collective memory because, for the first time in history, the entire world watched a monster tsunami unfold live on television. The footage is absolutely chilling. It all started with an earthquake, but this wasn't just any earthquake, it was a magnitude 9.1 megathrust earthquake. The epicenter was about 43 miles off the coast. The shaking shifted the entire island of Honshu by 8 feet to the east. It even shifted the earth on its axis. The massive shift in the seafloor displaced an incredible volume of water, sending a colossal tsunami racing towards Japan's east coast. Japan is one of the most prepared countries in the world for tsunamis. Seawalls, warning systems, regular drills, but the wave that was coming was bigger than anything they had prepared for. The tsunami waves reached heights of up to 40.5 meters, or 133 feet. We saw waves overtopping massive sea walls. These billion-dollar defenses were rendered useless. The water poured over them, a black, churning mass filled with debris. The water surged up to 6 miles inland in some places. The tsunami flooded the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, disabling its emergency generators. Coming in at number 3, less known but even more terrifyingly powerful. We're going back to Japan. We're talking about Mount Unzen. This event is different. The main tsunami wasn't caused by an ocean earthquake or a direct volcanic blast. It was caused by something much more sudden and localized, an entire side of a mountain collapsing into the sea. This is what you call a landslide-generated tsunami. It started with a series of earthquakes and a small eruption from Mount Unzen's Fugandake Peak. The southern flank of the Mayuyama Dome had been weakened. It catastrophically failed. Imagine a piece of a mountain, millions of tons, suddenly plunging into the water. The displacement is so massive and so instantaneous that it creates a wave of almost unimaginable height right at the source. The collapse of the Mayuyama Dome generated a megatsunami. Scientific models and geological evidence estimate initial run-ups up to 100 meters. That is 330 feet high, taller than the Statue of Liberty. The tsunami radiated across the Ariake Sea, then bounced back, hitting the coast multiple times. Entire villages were not just flooded, they were scoured from the face of the earth. The coastline was reshaped, new inlets formed. The tsunami was so powerful that it created a chain of small islands that are still there today. The death toll is estimated around 15,000 people, one of the deadliest tsunamis in history. It's not just undersea quakes. Any large, unstable coastal mountain or volcano can generate localized megawaves far taller than ocean tsunamis. Alright, for our number 2 spot, we have something completely different and utterly terrifying. This wasn't caused by a volcano or an earthquake. This was a man-made disaster. We're going to Italy in 1963 to the Vajont Dam. A horrifying lesson in what happens when human ambition ignores the clear warnings of nature. At the time, it was the tallest dam in the world, a massive concrete arch stretching across a deep gorge. Engineers built next to Montage, literally known locally as the Rotten Mountain. For months, the mountainside was creeping into the reservoir at alarming rates. They tried lowering the water level. Too little, too late. On the night of October 9th, at 10:39 p.m., the bomb went off. A massive section of Montage, over 260 million cubic meters, slid at over 60 miles per hour into the reservoir. It was like dropping a mountain into a bathtub. The landslide created 2 waves. One ran up the opposite slope, the other was pushed over the top of the dam. The dam itself held. It barely sustained any damage, but the wall of water was estimated at 250 meters, 820 feet, almost as tall as the Eiffel Tower. A towering, debris-laden wave was unleashed on the unsuspecting towns downstream. The air blast flattened buildings, then the water hit. Longarone was wiped off the map in less than a minute. Around 2,000 people were killed almost instantly. The valley was scoured to bedrock, a stark monument to hubris. We have finally arrived at number 1, the undisputed champion, the biggest, tallest, most ridiculously oversized wave in recorded history. We are going to Lituya Bay, Alaska, July 9, 1958. There were 3 fishing boats anchored in the bay, enjoying calm waters. It started with a massive earthquake on the nearby Fairweather Fault, magnitude 7.8. An estimated 30 million cubic meters of rock and ice broke free. It plunged from about 3,000 feet into the water. The impact was described like an atomic bomb exploding. The sudden displacement created a megatsunami, biblical in proportion. Geological evidence shows the maximum run-up was 524 meters. 524 meters is 1,720 feet. That's taller than the Empire State Building. As it moved down the narrow bay, it was still a towering wall, over 100 feet high. It stripped trees and vegetation. You can still see the trim line today. One boat, the Edry, rode up the face, over the treetops, and dropped behind the crest. Another was thrown into the open ocean. Survivors escaped by dinghy. They literally surfed a megatsunami, and lived. And that is it. The top 5 most insane, destructive, and mind-blowingly massive tsunamis in all of recorded history. From a 130-foot wave that wiped out islands to a 1,720-foot monster that was taller than the Empire State Building, we have seen the absolute pinnacle of nature's destructive power. It is humbling to think that these forces exist on our planet. We spent thousands creating these animations to bring these events to life, and I really hope it gave you a new perspective on the sheer scale of these historical catastrophes. It's one thing to hear the numbers, but it's another thing to see a wave taller than a skyscraper. These stories are not just about destruction, they're also about resilience. We saw the strength of the Japanese people in 2011 and the unbelievable survival stories from Lituya Bay. These events are a powerful reminder for us to respect the planet, to listen to the warning signs that nature gives us, and to continue learning and preparing for the future, because as we've seen today, the next big one could always be just around the corner. Thank you so much for watching. If you were as blown away as I was, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications.